Is Ellie enough, or is Bella Ramsey enough? That's the question. Can she carry the show by herself? Because episode 2, we get our Joel in one.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think? Can Bella handle her own? Because season 1 was a show about Joel and Ellie's relationship the whole time. So now we're kind of missing that. So what do we do from here?
I haven't played The Last of Us 2 yet. I say yet. I'm never going to play it.
It's not going to function quite the same as the game because it can't. Because the game's whole premise is violence bad. Even though all this killing you're doing is really, really fun, violence bad. So the game doesn't work for that main reason. But this isn't John Wick. Ellie is not John Wick. We're not going to enjoy her killing a bunch of people.
She weirdly is in the game, though. Like, gameplay Ellie is John Wick.
Gameplay-wise, yes. But, like, from a story-wise, we're not meant to be enjoying her killing a bunch of different people. And they're going to try to make us feel bad about it.
Yes.
So it's like if like they did all the John Wick story and then they're like, by the way, they all had kids. Do you feel bad now?
Well, it's like they're not setting Ellie up to be that person. Like, she's not a killer in this show. At least from my perspective, I'm not going into this being like, she's a complete murderer. I know from watching stuff about the games, but I'm like, I don't know if this Ellie is going to have it in her to kill people other than Abby at this point.
But they are setting her up to be tough. Like, we've got boxing scenes, we've got jiu-jitsu scenes. So they're telling us this girl can fight. Well, you're gonna be seeing her fight people bigger than her.
Yeah.
This is why she can take them down.
But it's interesting because we're getting this character shift in her already in these 3 episodes where she's becoming stoic.
It's always interesting to approach this show at the many angles. Because if people have only watched the TV show, they're watching season 1 and it's like, oh, it's this like road thing with a father and a daughter vibe. Cool. So it's like, how many shows can then go? And in season 2, we completely change the tone and genre.
In Mandalorian and Grogu, it's just Grogu killing stormtroopers.
No, but it's like, imagine it's like if Breaking Bad in season 1 was like, you know, it's a drug dealer thing, and then the second season is a tonal shift completely.
He's running for president.
If you kill off a main character and then you spend 10 hours with the goal of that game to be kill this character, and then halfway through you go, now you're that character. I know what you're trying to do. You want me to go, oh, everybody has a dad that saves zebras. Like, you know, like it's just that. So with this, it's like they're trying to preempt it and make it like, see, we all got our reasons. But the problem is, I don't think they gave us enough opportunity to, like in both game and show, to like, care or be interested in Abby before she does it. And I just feel like that's such an obvious thing. Like, imagine if episode 1 was just all about Abby.
That's what I thought it was going to go, yeah.
Seems like a really cool character and very interesting, and then plot twist, she's here to kill Joel. So now you're like, oh, she seems so awesome, and now she's going to kill Daddy Joel.
Yeah, instead we're kind of all cards on the table. We're starting with she's going to kill Joel. Like,
yes.
That's her goal from the get-go. At least the game, even though you didn't like it, even though you didn't like that part of it with the whole swapping character, at least it was more interesting, I think, than what they've done.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, putting everything on the table, like, there's no depth there. There's nothing that we can discover or find out about Abby the whole time. It's like, oh, she had a good dad. Cool.
Yeah, right. So then you're left going, well, what's the point of this story? And I'm a big proponent that I think in stories like this, that positive vibes are what will carry people through. I was saying to my friend that it's a rotten story. And he said, oh, yeah, but isn't that the point, that this is a rotten story? And I go, yeah, but if you serve me a rotten apple and tell me it's meant to be a rotten apple, I'm still not going to eat the rotten apple.
Now we've had Joel gone. I guess they're going to try to build us off with Dina and Ellie being the main strength of the story, like their relationship growing on their journey while having to murder people. And it's not a survival thing, whereas like with Ellie and Joel, their relationship is building in the background, sure, but they're trying to survive. Whereas this, they're doing the opposite of trying to survive. They're actively trying to murder someone that the show will simultaneously make us want to like.
And they're traveling, in the first story and game, they're traveling for a positive, and ultimately a positive goal.
Yeah, a bright
We're
future.
going here to save the future, to save the world. So in this, for it to be, we're going over here to like just do some Western John Wayne, like, I'm going to kill you thing.
Yeah.
It's kind of story like this work in the apocalypse, where every day someone's dying. where every day, you just have to accept that it might just be your day, that a zombie gets you,
What does a
raider
life
finds
mean?
you. For us to then be with someone, yes, we think she needs to go kill Joel because we love Joel too, so we're right there on board with her.
That's what they want, but John Wick did a puppy for a reason. John
Yes.
Wick wanted to make Theon Greyjoy irredeemable, wanted to make it so, like, we want him dead no matter what. Whereas this is doing the opposite. So it's like, I'm not going to feel conflicted.
It's just for us also, maybe it's just because we've watched so much media, but it's just, to me, I just don't think the concept's that interesting. I think from its first sentence, what if the person Joe killed was important to someone else? I'm like, that's just not important. It's just not an interesting story to me.
So we've got two big things that happen in episode 2. Town gets attacked and Joel gets...
Whacked.
Yeah.
Do you think that they had to do it nice and early because although people already knew that the spoiler factor was always going to be there and it would build up week and week, and so they're like, we just need to get this out of the way because if we spend too much time with Abby, people are going to start debating online and talking, and there's going to be more of a chance of people finding out what her goal is.
It's a hard one because I was dead set under the impression that Joel was going to die at the end of season 2. I thought that we were going to hold this out. We were going to get rid of all our flashbacks early on.
Yeah.
I don't know how, but it just seemed like a more natural season 2 point because they're cutting this story into 2 parts, season 2 and 3.
Yes.
So-
Short seasons too, right? 8 episodes?
Yeah, the max normal, I guess, at the moment. I dead set thought that would be how we cap off the season. We're like, oh shit. And now we just have to pedal to the metal to the end. Because realistically, from now on to the end of the season, Ellie goes from place to place murdering people. Like that's her story. And then because it's gameplay. Like that's what it is.
Neil is directing the last 2 episodes of the season.
Neil is?
Neil is directing
Oh.
those 2. I imagine he's going to want something done in a very specific way.
What I really liked about episode 2 was that if you're watching it and you don't know, it's putting all this emphasis on the town. And if you've heard talks like my father was going, I heard it's like a Red Wedding level episode. So let's say you're at the water cooling, like, did you see Last of Us? Oh, I haven't been that shocked since Red Wedding. So then when you're watching it, you're seeing a zombie attack on the town, and you're like, oh shit, is Tommy gonna go? Is this character gonna go? And so the whole time you're worrying about that, and then it's like, nah, plot twist, it's actually fucking the main character who gets got. And I like the rabbit out the hat of that, which the game didn't have, but that's just a comparable thing, I guess.
Yeah, I can see 2 sides to it. Like my wife felt it as well. My wife. It felt like a lot going on in one episode that didn't give the Joel stuff enough room to breathe.
Right.
Because I knew the twist. I wasn't looking at it from that angle. So you're right. I guess if you somehow didn't know, it probably would be more of a shock because otherwise the episode would go from nothing to something. But maybe the hunt for Joel would have been enough. I think having the town attacked at the same time was too much for me, but maybe that's because as soon as Joel set out on his expedition, I knew that he wasn't coming back. So I was kind of just like not worrying so much about the town because I was busy thinking about the Joel stuff. So I get what you mean. And I think maybe it should have worked that way, but it was a lot for one episode.
Yeah, and it was cool that episode 2 was doing this. And it makes, and I'm amazed that they didn't do like, if this was Disney Plus, it'd be a double drop. It would be, we're going to have 2 episodes and we'll end on that, and they have to come back next week.
Yeah.
So instead, it's fair enough to them for having it wait a week. But I still thought the episode was constructed well. I think both episodes, and maybe the third one too, but both of them, they've been doing a lot of paving over little plot points that a lot of people got fixated on. Like Joel would never give up his name like that. So instead, they have Dina yell Joel's name before she even knows,
There's
Joel's
another
with
person
someone.
with her.
Yeah.
So all these little things to, get around it. I like that it's like, okay, we're going to make more sense of it. But I also thought, is it them going, God, I just fucking hate that everybody, instead of discussing the game's themes and ideas, are just fixated on the practicalities of Joel, the great survivor, giving up his name so easily. And it's like, yeah, okay.
Which I never really agreed with in the first
Yeah,
place.
because it's like, what, Joel's constantly watching his back. Some people think Joel would constantly be watching his back. But at least this way, they've just paved it over and said the name got thrown out. That's just a small thing that I noticed as a game player. It's like, I've just noticed about half a dozen moments in which, Ellie learning jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, Ellie learning
all these,
jiu-jitsu, Ellie doing
little
boxing.
things to
trying to extend the timeline a bit by actually
extend
having
it, but
Ellie
also explain
knock
away things. Like, here she's being good with a rifle. Here she is being good with this.
Good with a rifle, but not great. They're
Yes, I know.
teetering on that line, with the jiu-jitsu. she's good, but they were pulling punches.
Yeah.
With the boxing, she's good, but she's injured. With the sniper, she's good, but she is too low on their shot.
Yes.
So it's like they're trying their best not to make her a Mary Sue at the same time as being like, she can kill people.
Episode 2 was interesting because I think they didn't give Ellie being angry at Joel enough time to breathe. It felt like that was going to be such an important part, but it was all, such an interesting part of the story, which I would have loved to see more interactions in. We get one realistically, but it's over. As soon as she showed a bit of interest in it, I'm like, they're definitely doing it this season. They're not going to meet again and have that chance.
I think it kind of works for the town of Jackson as well. Like, we didn't really spend all that much time in town before it got attacked. Like, we didn't really know we only knew a very small amount of people in the town when it got attacked. Whereas it feels like that kind of attack normally gets saved for an end of the season. Like, whether it's The Walking Dead or Game of Thrones, it's usually you spend a bunch of time in this town being relatively safe, or at least prepping it, and then you get like shit on, and then you can cut to all your cool set pieces. Whereas in this, they only really had Tommy, so the whole fight, you're just watching through Tommy.
Yeah. I'm just interested to see, because now there's no gameplay elements to worry about, if this is something that people will still continue to want to engage with, that now it's all about going on a revenge tour to another town to meet other characters. Is that something that people want from Last of Us, when they really liked season 1, and season 1 was this story of retribution and two people together in that story trope that has become famous, in part because Last of Us game was so successful, and that is like miserable person, youthful guy. Like Logan was like one of the first. Oh, it's Last
Logan,
of Us,
yeah.
but it's Logan. It's it's all these things, and that's what gets me interested. Is that is there an audience of people who are now just like, so it's going to be just 4 or 5 episodes of just killing and revenge?
I can confirm there are people that are, oh, Joel was the heart. No, Joel, I'm out.
Well, it was a beautiful story. Do you give up your love to save the world, or do you give up the world to save the thing you love? And that was such a beautiful thing about the story of that the first game, the first season of the show. It was Joel making this decision for this person who's inserted themselves in his life very unexpectedly, because he was happy trotting along, just doing his own thing in wherever he was.
And he'd lost one before, so he's not doing that again.
Is he going to do it again? Exactly. He let Ellie in. Ellie implanted herself like a fungus on his heart. It was a beautiful story. It's deeper than just a zombie apocalypse story.
It's really hard to get an ending like the ending to that game. Like that, the ending to that game is so fucking good. Like it's a perfect
and you can leave it vague
on
enough.
it. You can leave
Which
it
is why
vague enough.
I hate that note that someone found that says like the doctors had tried it before and it failed.
And he's a vet.
Yeah.
Like it's meant to be, leave it ambiguous that they go for that whole game and see the world is absolutely fucked, that she nearly gets eaten and raped by someone. So would a cure really fix that?
How does humanity recover from that? There's no cure for that.
Zombies aren't the real bad guy. You cure zombies, you still have horrible people.
And that's what was my reading, was like, this world is beyond saving already, so why the fuck is he going to give up his daughter again?
Well, maybe that would have been an interesting thing to show Jackson, to show like more of a functioning society.
Yeah,
like,
and I like that.
Like there is hope.
That whenever Ellie sees an infected person now, she can't help but feel the blame. And that's interesting too. And the episode 2 is a great spectacle. It's a cool, what you wanted the fucking, what's it called? The Winterfell episode to be, the Long Night episode
Yes,
to be.
daytime.
Yeah, daytime, clear. I thought the killing of Joel was presented quite well. I did think Bella did a good job in that moment. I thought her screaming, her crying, her crawling over to him, being in utter shock. The fact that it's not, because in the game it's just an extra club on the head.
Yeah.
And they, even though they let Manny say pendejo, he doesn't spit on him. In the game, he spits on Joel. I did kind of like the shocking, the lack of sound when she just stabs him with the broken glove and just dink. And it's like that shock of oh, she actually did just fucking stab him in the neck.
I think they also wanted to avoid the hole-in-one jokes.
Yeah, and also it's just so brutal that it's a fucking golf club.
Well, she beat him so hard with it that the head snapped off.
Yeah.
They just don't make them like they used to.
So, and her calling over to him, I thought that was a really nice
very visceral.
addition.
I much preferred when we focused on Joel and Ellie in that moment. Like forgot about the town for a second and let it breathe.
And they sacrificed, because in the game it's Tommy, and Tommy gets knocked out. When he sees his brother get shot, he gets knocked out. But in this, because they want to give Dina a little bit more than just
Bit of fire.
I want to go on a horse trip with my girlfriend.
My maybe girlfriend.
Yeah, so in this, it's like, no, she had a relationship with Joel. She cared about Joel. So she's going not only look after Ellie, but also because she wants a bit of retribution too.
Yeah, she was there and did nothing, so she needs to repent.
I was okay with those little changes.
I think the game might have done it better as far as Ellie's search for Joel, because that whole moment where you're trying to get through the snow to get to the ski resort, it's you alone, you're like trotting through snow. So I think spending more time with Ellie, trying her best to get there, whereas in this she kind of just like rides off.
It's kind of the first place she goes straight to.
Yeah, they're like, oh, she might be up at the mountain lodge, and then she's just suddenly there, and then she does her little sneak through. Whereas, yeah, in the game, it's very much, you don't know what's happening. You don't know what's happening. There's a lot of tension of you walking through to discover it. Whereas in the show, we have seen Joel already get the shit beaten out of him a bit before Ellie even rocks up. So it kind of takes us out of Ellie and just into like a third person, whereas I think us being in Ellie would have been much better for that. What do you mean by that?
Did you think Abby's speech was like...
I think Abby's ass looks great. What do you mean?
The Abby defenders, like...
Do you think her speech was because a lot of people are obviously mocking the whole...
It was dog
shit. The nurses going, oh, had a beard, he had a scar, he was kind of handsome. Like, because she goes, oh...
You are as handsome as they say. It gave me Year 12 drama vibes.
When was she informed by the nurses who witnessed this guy killed?
He was fucking hot.
He was.
I assume it was.
He
like,
was hot in a murderous kind of way.
Oh my
like
god,
in a Ted Bundy kind of way.
Oh my god, they've brought in the child that will save us all, and damn, the dad's pretty cute too.
He kind of looked like Oberyn
Martell. Yeah, but obviously that's a small thing.
I liked that her friends were like, maybe we don't, or like maybe we just kill him and go.
I really like that when
the friends are much cooler in this.
Because in the game, she just runs on out there and just happens upon Joel.
Yeah.
Like, with no plan. So in this, they try to have it be like she's walking around, sees a horse, and probably is thinking, I'll get them, I'll try and learn what the situation is in Jackson. But I like that all her friends are like, we ain't getting in there. So the moment they saw it, the moment she gets back, our plan is to try and convince her to just leave it. Because there's no way we can do this.
I like that. That was a good touch. They're just sick of it. They got to the end of their road and they're like, there's no
way to get in there.
And I liked that the night before, it was the New Year's party. So there was like one building lit up. So they probably did just from a distance see like one little shack.
Yeah.
And they're like, all right, one little shack. We'll check it out in the morning. The next day, it's the whole town, and they're like, Abby, no.
Yeah, they were like, holy
please.
Fuck, that's bigger than it was before.
The friends are way more likable.
It's a problem with the plot. It's like, someone's came to kill Joel. Joel is in a guarded town. Why would anyone in this world, like, surely their practical need to survive would be, yeah, I can't do that. Like, in episode 3, when Dina's going through the logic of, you're going to travel all this while, you need to be... Like that in itself is a dangerous, epic thing to do, to just go from this location to that location in the apocalypse.
It's hard to do now.
Yeah, it's hard to do now. So I'm here going, exactly right.
Speaking of episode 3, the introduction of these Seraphites, how did that feel for you? You don't know who they are, as far as I know.
Oh, those are the people who subscribe to Bergenbeard?
Oh my god, you should do it too. Old Scarface.
I was like,
do you have any idea who they are?
I don't know who they are.
Cool. How did you find their introduction?
I think it's cool. I was like, okay, some people who have devolved to just like, they're not as well put together as the people of Jackson, is at least how I think of it. It's like, these are people who are like, we don't know how to get power in buildings. We don't know how to maintain and sustain civilization. Let's just start from the start. Bows and arrows, a pagan kind of god that they believe in. We believe in the hammer. We believe in force. I don't know what it represents.
Yeah. So, do you want a couple of spoilers? I mean, nothing major.
I mean, I'm sure they're not good people. Anyone who's that bald and culty,
yes, they are
and that pagan.
They are the main goons of the game. So you will be killing plenty of them in the game. I really liked how they were shown in the show, because I think when we find out later that they are trying to kill Ellie for some reason, then that gives her a drive to kill people, and then it becomes survival. But yes, in the game it's, hey, go kill these people, it'll be fun. Whereas here it's like they're more they come across as more innocent.
I thought it was real shit.
Why didn't you like it?
Oh, because I guess it's me bringing in the knowledge, but the game's all about killing people is wrong unless they're a cultist family who hate trans people. Then go ahead and start
But that's
in
why I
headshots.
liked in this that they're doing
Yeah,
something
like-
different and they're making them
yeah.
like innocent, but like it's their
Innocent
way of
for
living,
now.
I guess. Well, that's the thing. It's like
Because if you show a child dying, you're like, those are good. The good guys.
that's
They
why
have a
I think it'll
child.
be an interesting turn. We showed them as the victims of the wolves, and then we're like, oh, we're like everyone is just their own different kind of fucked
Yeah.
up. The Spanish wiped out the Aztecs. The Aztecs built crazy cool stuff, but the Aztecs also did ritualistic sacrifice. So it's like they were really cool guys, like did some really cool stuff, but they did ritualistic sacrifice, and the Spanish were like, that's against God. We're going to kill all of you. And so their version of sacrificing them was okay. So I think it's interesting.
What an interesting point of history
Thank
to
you.
pick that from.
I think it might be interesting if they do that, where it's like, yeah, everyone has their own goodness and their own fucked up. So why is Ellie any
And
better?
it's kind of magnified in the apocalypse as well.
Yeah, and I think having it not just be Abby versus Ellie, that might make that more interesting, but we have no idea until they do it.
Yeah, it's meant to build up the wolves as being this like more evil, like
Yeah. Like they were just
silhouettes
coming
in
through
our-
and they were like, let's just wipe them out.
But yeah,
That's how you're presented to
Yeah, we
this
don't know
exchange.
exactly what happened.
You think Abby and her gang just walked through, wiped him out, dumped the bodies.
True, because we don't. Yeah, we don't know till the end of
We
the
don't
episode
know.
that there is a fuck ton of wolves.
Yeah.
and
They got an
Ellie is-
APC. They got
they got
Hummy,
4 or some
Hummers.
yeah,
shit.
because they're going in with
Ellie's
the impression
fucked,
that
yeah.
it might just be the crew that was there and maybe some others that they just held up.
Well, the bulk of episode 3.
Is Ellie trying to like politic her way into sending a task force? To
I was like, is she the mayor? Is she delivering a speech like, that's not what I can do for Jackson, but what Jackson can do for you?
She was doing what she was told to do, which was to calm the fuck down and like speak her mind for once.
Yeah, because people are allowed to present a case that can be voted on.
I think we need to have more turkeys.
More
And the corn it
corn.
actually yields a lot quicker in the harvest. Thank you, Jackson. Thank
You're
you.
like, please sit the fuck down, my
well,
man.
This guy's here actually talking about what's important.
Like survival. He's like, we can definitely yield more meat, more eggs,
Yeah,
more corn.
Sorry, it's a bit dry, but I'd rather you like listen to my dry speech.
I think if you think a lot about the council session with Ellie and whatnot, it gets more interesting. Like, did Tommy's wife vote yes or no? Because I would assume she would vote no because she wants her husband to stay back and protect it, considering he took down a bloater.
Yeah.
But also, like, it's his brother, like...
But she also has known and been very intimately close
Yeah.
but with Joel for the last 5 years.
Yeah, so but also they don't do that at all. Like there's no time for that. We're busy. We're doing Ellie stuff. So it's interesting if you go out of your way to think about it, but the show doesn't really present it in
No,
that way. They're just like
Doesn't really think about
a
it.
majority
Yes,
voted against Ellie. But I think her speech was good.
I forgot about it, so it couldn't be that good.
It was horrid.
It was her.
wasn't a
it was
bad
her
thing.
It was
saying, "Oh, it's not
horrendous.
about revenge. It's about justice." Like, yeah, but it is about revenge, Ellie. and
Well,
you're
that's
just
the thing.
pretending.
It's her trying to twist words and like lie her way into making other people think the way she does. 'Cause
Right.
She's slowed it down. Like she's not just like screaming, but she's still not telling the truth. She's trying to convince people.
And it's weird because the game doesn't do this, but I wonder if people were expecting Tommy's pretty much immediately leaving in the game, more or less. Like he leaves before Ellie to go there.
Yeah, that's right. Because you're on his tail the whole time.
Yeah, because story logic would be that Ellie and Tommy would go together. 'Cause why the fuck wouldn't they? So they had to come up with a convoluted reason as to why they wouldn't. So in this, it's a much more cleaner reason of Tommy has to stay back and look after the whole town, and he's got a son.
I think it works really well.
and that's it. Like, yes, it's real fucking sad that Joel died, but life goes on, and I've got a wife, I've got a son, I've got town to rebuild.
I think we're just going to get a reversal.
That
yeah,
conversation.
it's going to be Ellie's left. I need to go after her.
I think that's foreshadowed by the conversation he has with Ellie. How she again lies. Well, she's a bitch and tries.
She's
to,
manipulating him.
yeah.
essentially.
So, like you would go after him, and he's like, "Don't you dare talk to me about."
He's like,
my
don't act
brother
like that wasn't my brother.
Like I knew him for fucking 40 years before you did. She says Joe would be halfway across the country for you by now, and he says if he was alive, he would be, and that's why I think he's going to go after Ellie because Ellie is alive. Ellie can be saved. He can save Ellie, or in his
Yeah.
mind, she's probably not in that much trouble if he can catch her quick enough.
Yeah.
Grab her off her horse, hoik her back to town. But that's a really, really good scene, I reckon. Tommy does great in that.
Well, Tommy has the great scene with, Joel's body. He's cleaned Joel's body. Give my love to Sarah.
One man
Has a
funeral kind of deal.
Has a free therapy session with Catherine O'Hara.
Which you guys hated, but I was okay with.
I didn't like it. It
I
was just
like
it was
Catherine
just
O'Hara.
more manipulation, empty manipulation to sway characters off their path.
Is it repeating things that I already know, or is it repeating things that you felt you already knew? Where it's once again going, oh, Ellie's just a rage-filled fucking machine.
Yeah, that's like I had a real problem with her line where she essentially says like, you think it's all nurture, but it actually is. It's all nature. And so it was. It was. It was always. It was always in her. You know, it wasn't something that was taught. Her and Joel were always just this way.
That was a weird line for me. I don't know why that was.
Yeah,
in there.
I suppose you could take it as she's a jaded therapist who's lost her husband, and she's like the only qualified therapist in town, so she has no one for herself to talk to.
True, she says that.
And her husband has died, so she's kind of become more jaded. But I'm here going, isn't nature and nurture really a case-by-case basis?
Literally. I did one unit in university before I dropped out of teaching, and it was, hey, guess what? Whichever one gets lent on more works.
Yeah. And I liked the conversation, but I do agree that part was, as soon as she said it, I was like, why? Like, is it like a Joel, like, parents don't make violent kids? I was like, parents definitely make violent kids. And Joel butchering people in front of Ellie, and Ellie growing up in this horrific world would have made her the way she is.
Video games don't make you violent.
Oh my God, that's what they're trying to tell us.
That's what they're trying to tell us.
If you were violent, you were violent already.
But I feel like
it's all those Curtis and the Viper watch-alongs. It's made of a violent monster.
Oh, that's the thing. I feel like I especially don't like it because it's de-escalating who I want Tommy to be. I want Tommy to be vengeful.
Well, that's what got me. I would have loved it. Like, I would have found it more interesting if Ellie wakes up. It's like, what's happened? Oh, Tommy was gone the next morning. Like, I mean, but then they've had to have he wouldn't be gone because he has to look after the town, which is why they've done that. We spent 3 months rebuilding the town, and Ellie's been in the hospital that long.
I mean, she had internal bleeding.
She had like a breathing tube, maybe.
Yeah,
it's not the most advanced thing ever, so things take a bit of time.
Yeah, she's not healing well.
Yes.
What did you think of the shot where she's in the hospital screaming, and then she passes out, and she's like,
I felt so bad because, like, God.
She's like Frodo, but worse.
Zoom in closer. The director did say in behind the scenes he wanted the camera to always be uncomfortably close. I'm like, oh, well, you nailed it.
Do the coffee beans mean anything?
Yeah.
That she
Yes.
does? Joel loves a good cup of Joe.
I couldn't remember. And yes, that's it. He likes coffee. He's a coffeeaholic.
He would go out of his way to, like, trade with people to get coffee.
Because I typed into Google as soon as that moment happened, why did, and the first thing that came up was Ellie put coffee beans on Joel's grave. And yes, because he liked coffee. I'm like, cool, that would have been helpful if they told us that.
They set up coffee in episode 1.
Did they?
I'm pretty sure he's having a cup of Joe and he references loving a bit of coffee.
And he's like, damn, if I ever die, please put coffee on my grave.
I wanted to quickly touch on something because I mentioned this in the car when we were off to the movies earlier because we're boyfriends. What did you guys think, and do you think it was deliberate that the only person who vocally agreed with her was the sexist transphobe bigot?
I liked it.
But do you think it's intentional to show how she's kind of her mental status is skewed, where the only person who agrees with her, other than Dina, I guess, is the person who episode 1 told us to hate?
Yeah.
Well, your point was that a guy who has an old-timey backwards view of gays, that guy then reveals some old-fashioned revenge.
And Ellie's like, fuck yeah, revenge.
Yeah, so then we're here going, oh, great, the guy's kind of he's kind of been in retribution. You think, but then as you said, when you mentioned that to us, I was like, you're absolutely right. It's meant to be that, it's meant to be a warning sign that the guy who agrees with her is the guy who was that. Like,
hurtful to us.
I think it's definitely that and a few other reasons. Like, they removed the words bigot sandwiches because, like, they're trying to soften him a bit. Exactly.
It's just a dumb line.
That's
two words that don't belong.
When he gives her the steak sandwiches.
He goes, he's like, what's that? Bigot sandwiches. But they're trying to soften him a little bit.
Well, he's like, your rifle sucks, mine's better.
Yeah.
Trade.
And also, it's a nice little, like, forgiveness arc because, like, the whole thing is about forgive and forget kind of deal. So it's like, we're trying to be like, can Ellie forgive this one little bigot line?
But what else could she possibly forgive?
What does she have to go through where she won't excuse someone who's like, that's wrong, you guys, this is a family event, to killing her father figure?
Yes.
You know, like...
some shit. You know? Maybe, perhaps 6 more episodes. No, 4 more episodes.
Were they supposed to make love in the tent?
They
Timeline-wise?
They already have made love in the game because, you know, when she went out with Jesse?
Yep.
So the first episode is the day before. Mm-hmm. In the game, her going out with Dina is the day Joel dies.
Yep.
So So they go to Eugene's place, smoke weed, hook up, and they talk about the kiss that we see later. Oh, that kiss last night. Oh, I meant it. And they kiss again, and then they hook up, smoke weed. So while they're smoking weed, Joel's getting fucking his head caved in.
I think the show did it much better. Especially because you want to will they, won't they, if we're going to be focusing on building this relationship.
Yeah, because then all of a sudden it's two 19-year-old girls going out on revenge and having a bit of camping together. And so I think the will they, won't they works better because then it's multiple reasons why it keeps Dina interesting because
she's
Dina,
a wet blanket by the end.
Yeah, by the time they get to Seattle, there's no reason for her to be there. I mean, I'm sure people go, oh, it's meant to reflect like Ellie's determination that she's got reasons to not be there, but she's staying there for her own like selfish revenge.
And then I guess we get their little very nice girl on girl camping scene. A will they, won't they? That kiss was a 6. Ellie, how much experience do you have kissing? That one lady who went on watch with you was a better kiss.
Yeah, the other lesbian, the only other lesbian in town.
The only other one who's like you, I think Dina says.
That was a good line in episode 1. How she's like,
she's the only other one, you know.
She's like, you've dated her, right? And she's like, God damn it, yeah, I guess.
But then we get the next day, they get to the city limits, and you see
the Stinger.
Manny's in. I think he's in the Seattle Sky Tower.
He's in the Needle.
He's in the Space Needle, and he's like on Overwatch.
Yeah. Which would be hella cool, but
hella
terrifying
cool.
because like,
oh, how did he get up there? You had to like climb. But he's doing Overwatch. They like watch our position, blah blah blah, and then you get the slow zoom of 1 APC, 2 Humvees, 2 more Humvees,
2 boots on the ground,
and then maybe 60 wolves or something.
Yeah.
Heavily armed, heavily armored, a small army in Seattle.
Yeah, this whole section of the game was cut down because like this is a massive portion of like random open world. I guess because the engine allowed it, but they've cut that down to they walk through some grass real quick. It's better. I'm glad. I'm also really happy that we have our Last of Us vibe back and we've got overgrown stuff again.
Yes.
Whereas when we're in Jackson,
Plants growing on.
It's snow. We've done the town. Cool.
Things are
but we're
maintained.
done.
I think that's what it is. Instead of this being about revenge, it could be about like the last one was about a father and a daughter, essentially connecting. With this now, it's a will they, won't they relationship, and then it's going to be another plot twist. Fuck you! It's actually a terrible, horrible, rotten revenge story.
Yeah, we accept, I guess, not plot twist because it's all cards on the table. The show needs some mystery. I need something to not know, and I'm hoping it's not spoiler. The pregnancy. I'm hoping that's not the big twist.
Well, my thing is, it's the problem with the game and the show is that we know why everyone did everything.
Yep.
We know why Abby's done what she did. We know why Joel did what he did. And Ellie knows nothing. Ellie does not know who Abby is or why Abby did what she did. And if it follows the game, neither of them will know why either of them did anything. Which feels really weird to me, to have a 20-hour game and neither one of them go, you're the immune chick?
Yeah.
Your dad was the one who was butchering children.
Yeah. We're gonna get a small surprise next episode where I assume Dina finds out that Ellie is immune,
and that's why.
But that's going to be a pretty quick resolution of I'm immune. She's like, oh, that's good, and then they're like friends again.
Yeah, it's going to be a weird run because, as you said, the plot kind of stops. And
yes,
weirdly,
it's murder time, baby.
Abby has in the game, if you try and be empathetic to Abby, she's the one who has the more, she has like a Joel-esque arc. She gets a little bow and arrow young kid with her. Basically, it's meant to be that Abby's finally killed the demon, Joel, and then is woke up the next day and it didn't get better.
Yep.
Her dad's still dead,
gone.
and the whole point is gone. So now that hate's gone, she fills it with like the retribution of like, oh, I've got the Seraphites who we were trained, and she's like the #1 Seraphite killer.
I'm wondering if next episode will be half Abby, half Ellie, or whether we're going to get all Ellie. Because if we don't see Abby for a bit, that's way too like the game, and it's going to be like I'm starting to forget about Abby, and then suddenly I'm like thrust into her.
And it is funny though, because I was someone who I wasn't yes, I've said like she's built like Kratos, but then we've got the opposite problem now, where it's like, if Abby's meant to be this like you believe in the game that like you believe in the game that that her crew is scared of her because she's this big muscly woman. I don't think they'd be scared of.
Well, they're
Sorry,
scared
I mean,
of
I
her
don't know.
passion in this.
Yeah, I
but
don't know how efficient she is of a killer. I'm not saying because someone's 5'2" and tiny means they can't. I'm sure she could kick my ass. The show just has a massive uphill battle because you're going to have a lot of people who are ready for Abby to die. And I've seen plenty of TikToks of women just
they hate her?
of being annoyed.
Daddy Joel
You've
is
just
dead.
killed Joel. It's like imagine Walder Frey getting a retribution arc after the Wed Redding.
I guess that's a good thing then. That means it's working the way they want it to, because now they're going to try to make us like Abby again.
But that's, I don't know what's going to be like for you, Marko, but there are some people who just put there and no, you killed Joel. It's done. Like, I don't care.
Aren't they just doing like, to make a Game of Thrones reference while you're at it? It's
Jamie,
more like
but
Jamie, yeah.
It is, and I guess it's because in the Game of Thrones world, the world is set up of like, people can die, people have their reasons. But in this, it's like, we've had one story, we know it's like, the vibe of this was this.
We had society.
And now here we are with a new vibe, and the new vibe is revenge is bad and violence is just a
It should be the preservation of human life, whereas in Westeros, it's like, just to get to the top, let's kill as many as we can,
So it fits within the vibe of the story.
So are we going to use Ellie and Dina as a story engine? So Ellie and Dina run into other people like Joel and Ellie were, how we get the two young brother storyline. We get the love story in episode 3. And we need to spread this over 2 seasons now. So yeah, are they going to use them as these two roll into a situation, we deal with that situation, and then we move on from there?
I hope so.
It's interesting though, because I know that nothing's going to happen to these characters, no matter what trials and tribulations they go through, which I know you could say the same thing for season 1. But I know nothing bad is going to happen to them. Like horrible.
What if they break up?
I know one of them isn't going to get glacked off the side of the screen,
Yeah, it's. I think when you started this, you said, "Is this story enough for Ellie / Bella Ramsey? Like, can she carry it?" And
No.
I still don't know. I'm interested to see where we go, how Dina plays into it, how quickly Jesse and Tommy appear, and because she's the main character. I've never personally liked, now there's this retroactive reframing of the series that Ellie's been the main character the whole time.
I don't know if we ever said it, but Ellie's not likable. Young Ellie is likable because she's a rapscallion.
Yeah.
Whereas this Ellie isn't likable, and that's why I think she can't carry the story. But that's why I think she can't carry the story.
Abby's meant to be more likable than Ellie.
What unlikable protagonist have we had ever?
I think they know that they're going to have people who are annoyed because they're going to come back and they want more Joel-Ellie adventures. And instead, what they're going to get is Joel's dead, Ellie's fucking miserable, the end.
Yeah.
And that is not fun and not a nice thing to be told. And also, it's... I don't agree with it because I just don't think it was required. I think if you wanted to tell a story about why revenge is bad, just do that with new characters. Just do that somewhere. Just do that in this world with new characters. Just leave Joel and Ellie be. But now we're not players. We're just viewers. So it has to be about Ellie. Because now I'm just a non-active part. What's the word? I'm not a participant anymore. So now you're telling this story. It's about Ellie. So you need to make sure that Ellie remains interesting and not just this rage-filled machine. So, which is why I'm happy that Dina is with her, and it's not quite... Because people did criticize the game for being a bit like they're just two girls in love.
Yeah,
so
but even this one, they're still very much on good terms. Whereas, beginning of season 1, Joel and Ellie are not friends at all. Logan and X-23 are not friends at all. Whereas here, they're pretty good.
Yeah.
Mando and Grogu. Grogu's a baby, so he's just kind of along for the ride. So, but what do you guys think? Do you think Bella Ramsey / Ellie can carry the series by herself? Do you think her relationship with Dina is enough? Apparently we don't, we vary from not sure to absolutely not.
I think we just need to see more evidence.
Well, we've got plenty more episodes to come, so stay tuned.
What's bringing you back next week? And is it that you're looking forward to seeing Abby's head get caved in?
You see this microphone? I have to.
My demands.
Otherwise, I don't get to be on the sets.